We've just seen Alex Eala get her second clay court win of the season, taking out Pavlyuchenkova in a close straight sets, or at least a pretty decent straight sets. Probably her best win so far on the clay in the last couple of years. Let's have a look, though, at how it actually went, because she did only get broken the one time. For an hour and a half, she was 6-3, 6-3, got the win, and started off pretty strong. Almost got a break in the very first game of the match, but then Pavlyuchenkova holds, and then Pavlyuchenkova almost got a break straight away as well, but Eala was able to hold off. Then it was on serve for a little bit there. Again, another tough game for Eala in the second service game of the match.
Some matches are decided by skill. Others are decided by tactics. But every now and then, a match gets decided by something you cannot put on a stat sheet. Something in the air, something in the crowd, something that shifts the entire emotional weight of a contest before a single ball is even struck. And that is exactly what happened the moment Alex Eala stepped onto that court in Madrid. Because the crowd was not just cheering, they were already crowning her. And Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, a seasoned professional with years of elite-level experience, walked into an atmosphere she genuinely never saw coming. Which forces you to ask a question that keeps getting louder every single week. When exactly did Alex Eala become the main event? And more importantly, is this explosion of crowd support just noise? Or does it signal something much deeper shifting inside this sport right now?
Forehand here from Pavlyuchenkova into the forehand of Alex Eala. Backhand from Pavlyuchenkova. Eala on the defense. Another forehand here from Pavlyuchenkova, but goes into the net. Story of the match from her perspective. 40-15 Alex Eala. 2 match points for Alex Eala with a spot in the second round to play for here for Alex Eala and a spot in the round of 64, repeating her result of last year in Madrid. Okay, she serves down the tee, unreturned. Backhand doesn't land in from Pavlyuchenkova. Alex Eala wins 6-3, 6-3 to progress in Madrid, repeating her result of...
Pavlyuchenkova hasn't been in the greatest of form, so it was a good opportunity to play somebody like Pavlyuchenkova at the moment. But Pavlyuchenkova last year made 2 quarterfinals of Grand Slam. She's a former French Open finalist, so she's very capable on this surface. It's not like she can't play on the clay, but lately she hasn't been playing well. So Eala did get a great opportunity to take out a well-known player, a player that's been very well-known over the last, 15 years or so. But next one is Mertens. It's going to be real tough against Mertens. Mertens is like Pavlyuchenkova, but a lot more solid. Expect less errors.
The answer started revealing itself almost immediately after the opening exchange, because what followed was not just a tennis match. It was a live demonstration of momentum taking physical shape on a court. Alex Eala did not shy away from the noise. She matched it. Point by point, rally by rally, she absorbed that crowd energy and converted it into something terrifyingly controlled. Composure under fire, precision under pressure. Meanwhile, Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, a player who has navigated finals and high-pressure moments throughout her career, found herself doing something she rarely does, reacting instead of dictating. And that is not a small thing. That is the difference between controlling a match and being controlled by one. The script that everyone had written before this match, the experienced veteran outmaneuvering the rising talent, got quietly and decisively flipped. And the most remarkable part? Eala did not wait for that moment to be given to her. She walked out and took it.
Slam champion, Madison Keys, Grand Slam champion, Iga Swiatek, 5 times a Grand Slam champion. You have beaten all of them to make it into this round at the tournament. I mean, to the semifinals. It's spectacular.
I don't know what to say. I'm in complete just disbelief right now, and I'm on cloud 9. So thank you everybody who came to watch.
Now before we go any further, let us be honest about what Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova was walking into, because this was never just about an opponent ranked higher on paper. The emotional environment of that court had already tilted before a single point was played. The crowd had chosen their favorite. The energy had already leaned one direction. And in professional tennis, that kind of subtle imbalance, the kind you cannot measure and cannot prepare for in a training session, has a way of shaping everything that follows. Every missed shot feels heavier. Every tight call feels more personal. Every moment of pressure feels amplified. No stat sheet captures that. No scouting report warns you about it. And yet it became one of the defining forces of this entire match.
We've got 2 players at different stages of their career. Alex Eala at 20 years of age, really at the infancy of her tennis journey. For Pavlyuchenkova, she's towards the back end at 34 years of age, currently ranked 116 in the world, but was at one time ranked 11 in the world, and she is a former Roland Garros finalist. For Eala, she is at 44 in the world with a career high of 29 not too long ago, so she'll be looking to continue to rise up.
Here is what most people assumed going into this contest, and honestly the logic was not unreasonable. Pavlyuchenova's resume is the kind that demands respect. A run to the French Open final. A career-high ranking comfortably inside the top 15. Years of competing at the very highest level of the sport against the best players in the world. Alex Eala, by contrast, is still navigating that delicate and dangerous transition, the one every promising talent must survive, from exciting prospect to consistent contender. Those two realities, stacked side by side, pointed toward one clear outcome. But here is what people keep forgetting: tennis matches are not played on paper. They are played in the body, in the mind, and in the moment. And from the very first game of this contest, it became obvious that the rhythm of this match was going to reflect something far more interesting than reputation. From the opening exchanges, both players were probing carefully, testing the serve, searching for weaknesses, trying to find early openings before the other one could settle. But what stood out almost immediately was how composed Eala remained every single time pressure arrived. She was not flinching. She was not tightening. She was absorbing pressure and then returning it with clarity. And as the first set began to unfold, something gradual but utterly inevitable started happening. The balance of the match began shifting. Eala was not just matching Pavlyuchenova's intensity. She was quietly dictating it, stepping forward at the right moments, choosing when to extend rallies and when to accelerate, forcing her opponent into positions that made errors more likely. This was not accidental. This was a game plan being executed with a level of maturity that most players take years to develop.
Last year and was a set up on Iga Swiatek before going down in 3 sets. This year she's going to be playing Elise Mertens in the next round. She blows kisses to the crowd, appreciates the support. See you in round 2. But Pavlyuchenkova today, yeah, there were flashes of brilliance from Anastasia, but too many unforced errors. And in a little over an hour and a half, Alexandra Eala progresses to the round of 64 in the Spanish capital. Pavlyuchenkova took a medical timeout midway through that second set, but she was already a break.
And then the breakthrough came. A service break, the moment the crowd had been waiting for, and the reaction from the stands was not surprise. It was confirmation, like they had felt it building and now they finally had proof. That collective explosion of belief from the stands added a layer of pressure on Pavlyuchenova that no amount of experience fully prepares you for. Now, to be absolutely clear, Pavlyuchenova is not a player who folds. Her entire career is built on the ability to fight back when things start slipping. She has pulled herself out of difficult situations in matches that looked gone. So the expectation naturally became, she responds here, she finds a way back, she does what she has always done. But Eala refused. That is the only word for it. She refused to let that comeback narrative breathe. She reinforced her advantage with disciplined serving, calculated aggression, and a refusal to let Pavlyuchenova find any rhythm whatsoever. There were brief moments where it looked like the veteran might wrestle control back. Moments where she lifted her level and applied immediate pressure, where her shot-making became more assertive, where you could feel her trying to break Eala's concentration. But even in those moments, Eala demonstrated something that genuinely surprised observers: the ability to absorb pressure without losing clarity in her decision-making. She never panicked. She never rushed. She just kept thinking clearly, and that made all the difference.
It's been a pretty rocky last year, 2 years for her. She's struggled with some illness, with injuries, and just hasn't really managed to find and recapture that form that once had her just outside the top 10.
The second set is where this match truly revealed its character. There was a sequence right in the middle where both players exchanged breaks in rapid succession. A chaotic stretch of tennis that created genuine instability and could have opened the door for a Pavlyuchenkova resurgence. That is usually where experience takes over. That is usually where the veteran steadies the ship and the younger player starts to feel the weight of the moment. But instead, what that sequence exposed was Eala's adaptability. She recalibrated faster. She reasserted her structure within the match before Pavlyuchenkova could capitalize. And that ability, the ability to recover from disruption faster than your opponent, is honestly one of the most underrated qualities in professional tennis. It is what separates players who compete well from players who ultimately win. And on this day in Madrid, it worked completely in Eala's favor. Her serve, which critics have occasionally flagged as an inconsistency, became one of her most reliable weapons throughout the match. In the highest pressure moments, her first serve accuracy gave her instant control of points. She was reading the situation, knowing when to extend rallies, knowing when to accelerate, knowing when to end the point quickly. Pavlyuchenkova was constantly in reactive mode, and once a player of her caliber is forced into that position and cannot escape it, the outcome tends to become inevitable. When Eala eventually served out the match, a 6-3, 6-3 victory in just over 90 minutes, the result did not feel like an upset. It felt like the natural conclusion of a performance built entirely on clarity, discipline, and quiet, unshakable belief. Intro 7. After the match, Eala spoke about her comfort in Madrid, her appreciation for the competitive atmosphere, and her understanding that every match at this level demands full commitment from the very first point to the very last. And those words aligned precisely with what she had shown on court. Nothing was taken for granted, nothing was rushed, nothing was wasted. Her serving statistics told their own story. 76% of first serve points won, 5 out of 6 break points saved. Those are not numbers that happen by accident. Those are numbers that happen when a player arrives prepared, executes a clear game plan, and refuses to let pressure distort their thinking. But here is where the conversation becomes genuinely fascinating, because this result does not exist in isolation. This is not a one-off performance on a good day. This is part of a larger pattern, a trajectory that has been building quietly and is now impossible to ignore. Eala's success in Madrid specifically, a city where she has achieved meaningful results before, reinforces something important about how certain environments can shape a player's development. There is familiarity here. There is confidence here. And confidence, once it takes root, has a way of becoming self-fulfilling. The critics will point out, fairly, that clay is arguably not Eala's most natural surface. Her game is built on taking the ball early, being aggressive, dictating pace, qualities that tend to translate more naturally to hard courts. But she trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy. She knows clay. She moves well on it. And the result against Pavlyuchenkova proves that her game is versatile enough to compete at the highest level regardless of the surface beneath her feet. What makes the next chapter of this tournament so compelling is that the transition has officially begun. The transition from being the player nobody fully prepared for, to being the player everybody studies carefully before stepping on court. That shift changes everything. Opponents will arrive with detailed plans. They will target her patterns, probe her weaknesses, and look for ways to disrupt the rhythm she found so effortlessly in this match. Her next opponent, Elise Mertens, represents exactly that kind of challenge, a player built on consistency, patience, and the ability to neutralize aggressive opponents before gradually turning the tables. There will be no emotional crowd tilt to work with. There will be no underestimation. There will only be a highly prepared, highly experienced professional looking to expose every vulnerability she can find. And that is precisely why this moment matters so much, because the question is no longer whether Eala belongs at this level. She has answered that. The question now is whether she can sustain this level when the conditions are harder, when the opponent is more prepared, and when the pressure of expectations sits squarely on her shoulders. That is the test every truly great player must eventually face. And for Alex Eala, Madrid has become more than just another tournament stop. It has become the stage where her potential is no longer just displayed, it is being examined, dissected, and judged by everyone watching for signs of what comes next. One match can capture attention. But it is the ability to replicate that performance, round after round, against opponents who grow more dangerous with every passing result, that ultimately defines a career. She has shown she can control a match against a player of Pavlyuchenkova's experience and pedigree. That lens is now permanent. Every match from this point forward will be viewed through it. The challenge is no longer about surprising people. It is about proving to the most skeptical eyes in the sport that what happened in Madrid was not a moment. It was a statement.